One cool thing that I just found that you all released, it's called a smart text feature where the texts are sorted and attached to their load. So it kind of reminds me of how you can look through the messages and the TMS and C associated with the driver and the load they're on. That's really, really cool. Leo, can you describe a little bit about how does this feature work? Because I really wish I had that instead of just having my phone blown up and trying to remember what the heck is going on.
So smart texting, it's really part of a bigger picture. If you look at individual loads, you'll see that a lot of people have to collaborate in order to move just a single load. The dispatcher, the driver, the receiving manager, the delivery manager, the accountant, the fleet manager, all these people have to collaborate. The night shift, and one of the ways that dispatchers will communicate with drivers is using text message. In fact, because Excel is so clunky, people don't use it to communicate with anybody. They just use it to record stuff at the end of the day. Meanwhile, the dispatcher will text message the driver where the pickup is. They might be asking another driver whether they're going to make their arrival on time. And so there's all these communication mediums involved in this collaboration. Right? There's email, there's phone calls, there's text messages, there's the platform itself where you can chat and leave notes in it. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to consolidate all the communication that pertains to a load in one place. That's kind of the theme of what we do is we bring everything into one place. And it's just the same for text messages. So what our platform does with text messages is that, yeah, it's easy enough to be able to send a text message from your platform, right? There's a bunch of services doing that. But we're doing, in addition to that, is we're actually recording all these conversations that happen on a load, and we're organizing all those things and presenting them to the user. And so the user can see, okay, the driver text messaged me here, somebody replied to them, they got another message, and then there's an email, there's a voicemail. We're trying to consolidate all these communications into one place. And it's just an obvious thing, right? That's like an obvious feature to have. But people don't seem to really have it. And so that's one of the things we just rolled out recently.
It reminds me, when I first started in trucking, I was an extended coverage dispatcher. I had 300 drivers, and half the time, the other managers would not send me a handoff. So the first hour of my day, while I'm getting bombarded with phone calls, I would go down every single truck, and like you said, you would piece together like a detective. What's the story on this load? And I had 3 different panes. I had the driver messages, the order comments. I had my current messages from an old TM, and you would literally spend so much wasted energy trying to piece together what was said between even switching shifts that the drivers got frustrated because they said, don't you know, I've already told you about this. So that's kind of one of the cool things y'all are working on is now, at least if I'm a manager or I'm anyone coming in and something's wrong, I can just look in and say, oh, here's this long chain of what the heck is going on.
Exactly.
Holy cow. I always get excited about that kind of stuff. Technically, as an operations person, it brings a smile to my face. And looking at one more thing real quick on the IFTA tax calculation. A lot of folks don't understand that Uncle Sam hates it when you drive on their roads and wants to charge you accordingly, especially in places like Kentucky and Oregon, which make me sad because I kept having to buy them if I didn't have a KY permit. Describe a little bit how, Leo, the IFTA tax calculation tool works. Do you have to partner up and log the miles, or what are some of the fundamentals of even trying to calculate it?
Yeah, so one of the things to know about our platform is that people live in it all day long. Our users live in our platform. And so as a consequence, we have a lot of data. We have a lot of information. And we certainly have information about the trucks, where they are, where they've been, all the loads that they did in a given period. And so that positions us to have this IFTA calculation feature. It's just we have all the data on our side, and we allow our users to plug in their ELD provider, so we can pull the miles down from that. But again, it's an obvious feature. We have all the data. We can calculate what the tax is for each individual truck, and now, of course, putting it all together into a coherent feature takes quite a bit of work, but again, we have all that data, and it's just a no-brainer to offer this service to our users. It's already all in there. They just get in and calculate their IFTA taxes, and they're on their way.
I don't miss that part. I really don't. There's some things that's why I joke around with the fleet life when the operational, the friction that's involved, just even trying to figure out internally. Ava, looking at, speaking of trying to overcome frictions and stuff, as you're building up this TMS, is kind of the way to go right now more API integrations for TMS providers, or is there ever an instance where y'all are looking at it and saying, I could build this better?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Sometimes the people that we're integrating with, like recently we integrated with DAT. We're also, we have a couple of load boards we're integrated with. Sometimes those things are smooth and easy because their APIs are set up and, you're off to the races. Sometimes those integrations take a little more time. And like Leo alluded to earlier, the company you're trying to integrate with, sometimes their code is not where it needs to be for all the integration. So it just depends. Leo, you might have some more thoughts on that.
This is something that we think about, and we certainly need to have the mindset that we're going to be integrating with a lot of different third parties. That's just the reality. That's part of the value that we offer is all these integrations. But at the same time, one of the things that's very important for us, like I said earlier, is reliability. And there's several services we have in our critical path. And so we're always looking at those as an opportunity to improve their stability. And sometimes that might mean offering the service on our own. And so that is something that we look at. I think that we can leverage our position as this sort of operating system to offer additional services. But right now our mindset is on building these integrations. Part of the complexity that we have is actually managing a large number of integrations. And if we do this right, then we can offer a very valuable network to our users. But yeah, we're always looking for opportunities to improve the service. And in some cases, we have to step in and offer the service of our own if what's out there isn't reliable enough.
That's why I felt as a broker, it's funny because with certain brokerage styles, you would be sending your loads as a PDF and I had to build them. When I was account executive, you finally got an EDI integration. You're so excited, but the problem was the EDI communications will be different from the company and then your own platform. So you're pinging them and they're saying, oh, this means this. I'm going to send you a 214, but this means something different to me. And then you'd finally get it working and then they would do something that would change it and then it would break again. And I spent so much time I could not imagine the API integration issues trying to deal with that as well. Now, closing remarks, direction, future, what are y'all have anything cool you can talk about that you're looking to as you're growing this platform? Is there anything cool to share that maybe kind of is in the works you're looking into expanding upon?
Well, this smart texting feature, like I said, it's part of a bigger feature that we call integrated communications. And that's where we want to correlate any kind of communication that pertains to load. We want to bring it all into one place so that we're truly an operating system. You can operate your whole fleet from just within Alvys. And that's kind of one of the directions we're heading. But we have a lot of different features. You mentioned EDI. We have a lot of EDI integrations. That's a big mess out there. That's absolutely the case. That EDI, on the one hand, seems like it's better than sharing PDFs, but there's all these problems. The protocol itself is archaic. Using FTP, which is not really heard of these days. And there's no consistency in all the different implementations of EDI. So in effect, EDI ends up being just a useless standard because nobody really follows it. And it takes a lot of effort to just integrate with an EDI service. And so we're building a lot of these integrations, and that's what we're going to be doing for the foreseeable future, is building integrations with existing TMSs, allowing our users to sit in Alvys all day without having to leave.
Well, it's exciting stuff to watch as well. I hope one day we get to a future where we overcome EDI, because every time they would send something, it would put the wrong error and information, and then I would have to redo it. I spent the entire time building the loads after they came through EDI and fixing them, so I'm super excited for that. Closing thoughts, Ava, if folks want to learn more about Alvys as well, sign up, test it out, check it out, where do they need to go?
Yeah, absolutely. So alvys.com, ALVYS.com. You can actually watch demos. We've got a YouTube channel with a bunch of demos you can see. We did the FreightWaves 7-minute demo. So if you want to just see like a 7-minute little overview, if you go to our website and then news, you'll see that demo you can watch. And then you can try it for free. If you're the kind of person you just want to jump in there and mess around with it and see what you can do, play with it, you can try it for free. Take 2 weeks on us, whatever, play with it. Yeah, so alvys.com is going to get you all the info you need.
Perfect. Thank you all so much for coming on. It was wonderful to have you on the show as well, and looking forward to hearing about what y'all are working on next. I mean, the world needs a good TMS, and I'm very excited to see what y'all keep working on.
Awesome. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you.